we're here to talk about one thing, one major, what is that? Thorn in my thigh or thorn in my heel, something like that. Yeah, you guys know the quote. Okay, the one thing that really chaps my khakis, okay, is fake, lukewarm, cookie cutter Democrats. Okay, now we already know what the Republicans offer. You know what I'm saying? They don't really disguise too well on their agenda. They want to pin people against other people over some bull. Okay, enrich the rich or enriching the rich, or you know what I'm saying, and continue to dangle the carrot in front of American folks like you and I, on one day you too might able to live the American dream. Just work harder. Work harder. Even though you're working two jobs, 60 hours each job, work a little harder and you might be able to live a good life. We already know their agenda, but Democrats, oh man, it just really makes me want to like jump off a cliff and just swear on everybody who's in the Democratic Party, because they talk a good game, okay? They talk a good game, but when it comes to this one question, and now it's even coming from other Democrats, and it's an easy answer, but they just like avoid it. Either they avoid it or they just don't care. And I'm about to show you guys some audio. Listen here and tell me if you catch it. Listen.
In a recent New York Magazine interview, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez warned Democrats that they could be in trouble going into the midterms. She thinks they're still in the game, but the president and moderate Democrats need to stop thinking they can return to an era where a backroom deal with the GOP could be reached, because that kind of thinking killed the Build Back Better bill. Do you agree?
No.
Okay.
No. This is the absolute wrong lesson that Democrats have learned from what happened in the last year. The country is not left of center. We are a moderate country. Independents dominate the electorate, and it's swing districts that make a difference. It is a 5-seat margin in the House of Representatives right now, and historically, it looks like it's going to be a bloodbath for the Democrats if they don't turn things around. Now, the way to do that is not to go pull further to the left and get into these squabbles that give Republicans the ammunition they need for the culture wars. What they need to do is they need to recognize some of the disingenuous arguments Republicans are using, and Democrats need to start hitting back proverbially on holding Republicans accountable in these districts. There's only 13 competitive swing districts out of 269 that are being redistricted right now. That's not a lot. AOC is in a safe district. She doesn't have to worry about this. The progressives are in safe districts. They don't determine the House of Representatives' control.
What she is worried about, though, is the health of this country, right? And she's worried about the families of this country. And progressive policies are popular policies across the board. They're actually popular with independents, and they're popular with Republicans as well. And let me tell you what I mean about these policies. There's 84% support for paid maternity leave. I'm surprised Republicans don't think that's a good thing. 75% support government funding for childcare. 60% support boosting the minimum wage. 57% support tuition-free state public college. And 54% support Medicare for all. And that's across the board. Across, well, maybe the people that are paying
well, he's
for
trying to raise the
can
taxes
pay
on
for
these
that as
billionaires.
well.
Maybe they'll pay.
That's the 5-letter words. Or the 5 words, not 5-letter words, the 5 words that hunt every Democrat who at least is trying, at least in my opinion, who is trying to do good for people. Who's gonna pay for it? Now, what I'm about to say, I'm gonna try not to be negative about this. I'm going to try not to be insensitive or whatever in between. But Trump was right, okay? Like, it hurts my soul even saying that, even that coming out of my lips. He was right about one thing, and even a broken clock is right twice a day. So I mean, it's not that much props, but I don't really like saying those two words together in the same sentence. Trump and right. Like, I mean, he's alt right, but he ain't correct. You know what I'm saying? But when I say this, I mean this with all sincerity. We got to put America first sometimes. I mean, like, it's like U.S. and this article just came out a couple days ago. U.S. aid to Ukraine, $13.6 billion. I'm trying not to pop my microphone here. I almost got really excited saying $13.6 billion was approved. Now, I get it. Russia is being some assholes. War is bad. Putin is bad. Okay, let me just say that right now. War is bad and Putin is bad. Okay. Now, we got to understand sometimes we need to make sure home is good before we help other folks. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for example, it's like me and my family trying to help my neighbors, him and his family. If I don't have money to feed my kids, if I don't have money to keep a roof over my head, how can I help my neighbors? You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. And then my kids are going to be looking at me like, hey, daddy, you giving them money, but we hungry over here. This is the third day we done skipped out on lunch. What's the deal? You know? So, of course, America is not exactly like the scenario I gave you guys, but America, quote unquote, is supposed to be like, the richest country in the nation or in the world. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Who cares? But we got money. And you know where that money comes from. Okay, let's just start off with that. Who's going to pay for it? And every time a Democrat want to say, hey, Medicare for all, who's going to pay for it? Every time a Democrat says, hey, let's cancel student loan debt, who's going to pay for it? Every time America says, hey, increase minimum wage, who's going to pay for it? Every time, people say, hey, we need to invest money into rural areas and in urban, which is, black areas, we need to put money into that. Who's going to pay for it? Like, where do you think this $13.6 billion came from? Don't worry, I'll wait. Let me look. It's not in here. I don't know where Joe Biden found it. And I'm pretty sure he didn't pull it out of the heavens. I'm pretty sure God wasn't like, hey, here's $13 billion. Go help Ukraine. No. I mean, it'd be nice. But no, it came from our pockets. It came from our taxes. I don't get it. Why can't we take before all this happened? I mean, we had plenty of time. Joe Biden's been president like, 2 years? A year? I don't know. It seems like forever. We just ran into that money just now. We couldn't take care of student loan debt. And I never went to college. I never accrued money on college debt. But if that helps my neighbors, why not? Oh, man, who's going to pay for it? Oh, the economy. Oh, I don't know. Dang. COVID relief. You know what I'm saying? We only got like 2 checks out of the whole 2 years. Like, people done got kicked out. People done lost their jobs. People done lost cars, houses. And we got 2 stinky checks. And how much is these fools taking out of my check? Like almost $300 a check. And I'm not even making that much, to be honest. I live in Colorado. That's like top 10 expensive states in the country. You know what I'm saying? They're taking this money and doing something with it. And let me tell you what they ain't doing with it. They ain't putting it in to your neighborhoods. If you're listening to this, it's a good chance they ain't putting it into your neighborhood. Not mine. I don't see it. But for some reason, somehow, some way, we got $13.6 billion giving it to another country. And yes, I understand they're going through some things. Russia is bad. Putin is bad. War is bad. War kills people, innocent people, 9 times out of 10, and they get nothing from it. I get it. But I'm pretty sure if we was able to give $13 billion, cut a check. Give it to us. Give it to the people who are actually living here and have to struggle every single day just to barely make it. That's why nobody likes politics. That's why nobody likes Democrats or Republicans, because none of these fools is helping us. You see what I'm saying? But they got all this money. Every time something with war, something, either we starting it or we're trying to save somebody or we're trying to do something, this, that. Every time it has something to do with war, all of a sudden, we just put in billions into our military, billions into AIDS, billions, and billions, but we can't get a $700 check. we barely got that. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like who's gonna pay for it is just like the Democrats' boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? And one tactic that they use, that Republicans use, hear this out. One tactic that Republicans use is they're going to take your money. You know what I'm saying? They're looking to go into your bank accounts and take your money. And you know who that scares? Rich folks. Because rich folks, you know, I mean, we could argue that they earned it, maybe. Some of it, probably not. You know, but these rich folks, they get scared when you start talking about their money. But that money comes from somewhere, and that comes from regular folks like us.